all units. I'm going in.
Name a player that will cost you 4 first-round picks to have,
Plus 2 pick swaps, right?
plus 2 pick swaps, plus Jared Vanderbilt.
I mean, you're probably gonna get your top tier players. You're gonna have your KDs. I know LeBron's never gonna get traded in his entire career, it seems like, but your LeBrons, maybe even like a Luka if he really wants out. I mean, you got to give up 6 picks.
Yeah,
Like,
at least 4.
At least 4 and 2 pick swaps. I mean, you got to gut your entire future for a player like that.
Do you want me to tell you who?
Of course, yeah. Who
I
is
think
it?
like Rudy Gobert. To the Timberwolves?
To the Timberwolves?
Yeah.
I can see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot.
Okay, pause. Fast forward.
Pause the video.
Pause the video real quick. Hey man, I got some news for you. Rudy Gobert, he's on the Timberwolves. Cost him 4 first-round picks.
After this trade happened, the conversation was they paid way too much for Gobert, which I agree with. I think that is the correct
As far
take.
as market value goes, yes, they paid too much.
It killed the market. Like, I think if Gobert doesn't get traded, I don't think KD really gets traded in any scenario. But after Gobert got traded, KD's not getting traded.
Yeah.
It's not happening. But I don't think this is even like a crazy hot take. And I've seen this take kind of on the internet. But I have convinced myself that the Timberwolves will be the #1 seed in the Western Conference.
This is a hot take, you think?
I think
Or
this is
it
like-
becoming a lukewarm take.
I think
it is a hot take.
I think it started off as a hot take, and I think a lot of people got the take, so it's kind of becoming lukewarm. But I don't think it's a crazy take. And let me kind of
Well, just give full context of why, not necessarily like why they would be the first seed, but also like who else could be the first seed. I think is most important.
Yes.
You have to look at who their contemporaries are, who they're going up against.
You have obviously the Warriors, which are a mess right now.
Yeah.
In all sincerity, they're a mess. They will be good still. The Draymond thing will be cleaned up, and they will be good. You have the Nuggets, which I love the Nuggets, but Jamal Murray hasn't played in 18 months. It's been a long time since he's played. You have the Clippers, which are not going to really be focusing on their 1 seed because they have 2 very injury-prone stars.
Yeah.
You have the Grizzlies, who will come out every night and compete and be good, but you have
I don't think they're as good as the Timberwolves.
No, I don't think so either. And Jaren Jackson's also out for.
And no Kyle Anderson, he's on another team.
Yes,
The Timberwolves.
The Suns, obviously, last year was traumatizing for them, and who knows what they're going to be like.
Yeah.
Chris Paul's a year older. Ayton doesn't want to be there. You have Dallas, who is lost Brunson. Like, every team in the West, I think you could make a argument besides the Clippers and the Nuggets have gone a little worse.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that the Timberwolves have gotten a lot better.
Yes.
I think the Nuggets, just going quick into them, it's really what do we see from Michael Porter Jr. this year?
Exactly.
Because that was like as bad of a year last year as it could have gone.
Yeah.
We had he got paid. We had the expectation, oh, this guy might average, 23 points a game, like 7 rebounds, He'll just be that guy that Jokic needs. And Jamal Murray is such a question mark.
We have no idea what Jamal Murray is going to look like. Obviously, we've seen a little bit of preseason, and you just can't trust preseason. And he's just been out of the loop for so long. Denver is good. They got KCP and they got Gordon still.
And Bruce Brown.
Yes.
Which is, I think, like the best free agency signing that I can think about. That's a role player.
Yeah.
Is Bruce Brown.
Yeah. If you just put in perspective of the best team in the league the past few years were the Jazz. And the Jazz were consistently, not the best team in the league, but like consistently one of the top teams at their conference during the regular season.
Yeah.
They were the top tier, and a lot of that has to do with Gobert. I'm not the biggest Gobert fan in the world. I think like you can make fun of him pretty easily, and there's already been jokes about like how do you defeat Gobert and Cat, and it's like 5 players around the perimeter.
Yeah.
Which is like obviously the joke, but a lot of teams don't even have that. But Gobert wins you regular season games.
He does.
That's what he does. And the Timberwolves are one of those teams that have the best team in the Western Conference booted in the first round vibes. And
yeah, they do.
Which really sucks to say, but that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from them. And it's not even because their players are bad. It literally is like experience, and they just have really good regular season players.
Rudy puts you over the top for definitely from where they were as a late seed, right?
Yeah, 7 seed.
7 or 8 seed. Rudy pushes them into, I think, top 4 teams in the Western Conference. I can see the mirroring of Jazz teams from the past few years and the Timberwolves this year. But I will say that the Timberwolves this year, I think, are better than any Jazz team.
No, I agree. The big X factor, who I think it is, you might have a different X factor, but it's Anthony Edwards is the X factor.
See, my X factor would be D'Lo. I trust Anthony Edwards to take a leap, and I trust Cat. He gets better every year. Yeah. He's always improving his game. But D'Lo is always the question, because D'Lo, when D'Lo's good, like, the team is amazing. Mm-hmm. When he's bad, like during the playoffs last year when he couldn't close games and he would turn the ball over, and he's honestly not had a pick and roll partner like Gobert.
No.
That I can think of.
Jared Allen would be the closest thing, but that's also a very young Jared Allen.
Yeah, right. From what the reports I've read, there are like staggering minutes more where it's going to be Cat and Edwards together, and then
D'Lo and Gobert,
which is not like a rigid thing, but it's like they're going to try to stagger minutes. So those pairs match up better than having Gobert and Cat on the floor together, which I think will be fine.
I mean, it's a debate of who's better, Donovan Mitchell or Cat, and it's all semantics because it's like they play different positions and there's just not really much to compare there. But Cat could legitimately be the best player Gobert has played with, and they could both make each other
easily
better. No, I think it's only up for debate because of their playoff pedigree, because Mitchell has more of a playoff pedigree than Cat.
Yeah.
That we just haven't seen Cat show up in the playoffs yet, which he could do this year. But that is where the Mitchell hive will be like, but Cat hasn't done the playoffs, and he sucked in the playoffs last year.
There's all these players on the Timberwolves. I feel like at one point in time I was like, don't trust them, but I'm like coming more around. Like Gobert, I've always been a pretty big Gobert defender.
Yeah.
Because to do what he does, to cover every single perimeter player on your team, besides like Royce O'Neal at times, like when you play for the Jazz, or maybe Ricky Rubio, that's a lot of work. Like
saving so many possessions.
Yeah, there's a reason he got cooked in pick and roll all the time. It's because like he has to cover like everything. Like obviously he's not going to be like perimeter defense. If you're 7-1 plus, it's going to be really hard for you to guard at the perimeter.
There is no 7-footer really in NBA history that has been able to do that.
Yeah.
Like you look at all the dudes that are over 7 foot, it's not in their DNA.
Right. Unless you're Giannis, like you're going to have a hard time guarding the perimeter being like 7 feet tall.
Yeah. Go back, watch Yao Ming
play perimeter defense.
Play perimeter defense, and you're going to be like, whoa, Gobert is an all-time perimeter defender.
Or any guy that's 7'1". Like usually it's big, tree trunk footed guys.
Yes, people they can't move their feet, and they're not built for that, and they also they
weren't required to do that.
No, they weren't required to do that. So it wasn't part of their game ever.
Yeah, the perimeter oriented 4s and 5s is like a new decade, like the past decade sort of thing. Let's talk role players for the Timberwolves real quick.
Lots of role players that we both really like.
Kyle Anderson.
Love him.
Amazing.
I
am such a big Kyle Anderson guy. I mean, he's always going to get the Boris Diaw comps.
Yes.
Like forever. Like he's gotten them since he got drafted by the Spurs. Another amazing role player they have, Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, Jaden McDaniels.
So good.
Yes, potentially. I mean, really was the big person that they were not willing to trade to the Jazz, which a lot of people made fun of. And who knows what the Timberwolves know inside if like Jaden McDaniels is like, I mean, we saw flashes of him in the playoffs of what he could do.
Mm-hmm. I could see him being one of those guys that takes a massive leap. Even like Anthony Edwards takes a leap from averaging whatever he is to like 5 more points. I could see like Jaden McDaniels being like
and him taking
a defensive player kind of guy.
And also him taking a leap is like averaging 10 points a game, which is like a pretty okay leap.
Yeah.
Where it's like that is a big leap in itself of our averaging 15 a game.
You really need him to be your Swiss Army knife.
Yes.
Like just be able to do everything, clean up. Like when Jared Vanderbilt and Jaden McDaniels were when Jared Vanderbilt was still on the team, I saw them as like Cat's bodyguards. Yeah. Like they're protecting Cat. Like if Cat misses rotation, you have Jared Vanderbilt and Jaden McDaniels to help out. So I am so high on him. Like as high as you can be on a young player, I am on Jaden McDaniels. Honestly, the more I read through the roster, I'm like, dang, their roster's so good. Naz Reid.
Love Naz Reid.
Love Naz Reid so much. He is like one guy, when I watched him at LSU, I was like, how is this guy not going to be a lottery pick? I mean, he was an All-American. Like he honestly, at points when in his rookie year, a lot of people were like, he's not going to stick. He will be out of the league. But he can shoot. He can get to the rim. I love Naz Reid. I don't think he's the best interior defender, but that's why you got Rudy Gobert now.
I mean, Naz Reid, really good playoff performance. Like, legitimately good in the playoffs against Memphis.
You think
like,
so?
Like, it was weird because when he came in, it was almost like they had a new energy because during the playoffs, obviously, Cat would come in, have the dumbest fouls, and then Naz Reid would come in.
Yeah, he'd have to step
Naz
up.
Reid can kind of hit. He can stretch the floor a little bit.
A quick few other names. I don't think he's very good, but Brent Forbes somehow gets on every contender.
Brent Forbes will hit 9 threes in one of the games this year. Will just be a solid player, but will be completely obsolete in the playoffs
No,
because he
will.
cannot defend anyone.
He cannot. He's just running around out there.
But also Gobert, fantastic player to pair with him. Really,
Exactly,
like
yeah.
a great player to play
Really.
with him, and he is the type of player that will be able to actually feast with someone like Gobert on his back line.
Another similar guy, Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers, obviously, I think a little better. I think they were both on Denver last year.
Yep, both Denver Nuggets. I don't think Austin's great, but like whenever I do watch him, I see what people saw as him as a prospect.
Yeah.
Of like, I see what you saw, and he's never going to be what he was. I mean, obviously we are 10 years down the
Or
line.
like his whatever hoop mixtape he had. Sorry guys, that's not gonna happen.
But he is what he is now, and I really loved him when he was on the Nuggets in the
Yeah.
bubble, like a lot.
I do too. I think he really fit into that group. Like, there's that game where he matched Damian Lillard. Basically, he ruined Dame time. Like, he ended up having like 4 or 5 threes in the fourth quarter. Hilarious, honestly, because Dame was on fire. But it's like, here comes Austin Rivers. Like, it's happening. I like Austin Rivers. It's taken a lot of because he's gotten so much hate over his
Yes,
career.
and I mean, it doesn't help that Doc is his dad, and Doc is just like so easy to dunk on, and also the fact that like his name is Austin.
So true.
I mean,
sorry, Austin's out there, but
I mean, just in general, like Austin Rivers has the blessing and the curse that his name is Austin, but I also think he's the greatest Austin that's ever played in the league.
that might be true. Yeah,
I can't think of anyone else.
I mean, he's better than Austin Day.
that's
that's
better than
for
Austin
sure.
Day. And Torian Prince is another
That's
player.
the last guy that I was gonna bring up.
Yeah, Torian Prince just like always been solid.
When DeMar Carroll signed with the Raptors,
He
not
did.
because they had the same hair, but he literally inherited his role. It was
Yes,
so,
they were the same.
It was
player.
crazy. What record do you think they're gonna have?
I think like they are going to. I don't think they're going to 60 games because that's my other thing. I don't think any team is going to win 60 games this year because just the league in general, which helps the Timberwolves, the league in general is just kind of flattened out in a good way. There's only a few like really bad teams, and there will be other teams that come about and are bad as well.
Right.
But for right now, I think that they will. I think they're going to be like a 56-58 win team. I think that's where they're going
And
to be.
that's what it'll take to be the one seed in the West.
I think so. I think this is going to be a year similar to, I believe it was 2014 is when the Suns missed the playoffs and they had 48 wins.
Yeah, that was a 48 win team.
Yeah, it was a 48 win team and they barely missed the playoffs, and the Spurs won 60 games. They won exactly over 60 and 22, and the Mavericks ended up getting the 8th seed and they almost beat the Spurs, if you remember right.
I do remember.
They were the only team that pushed them to 7 games, that title Spurs team. And I think that is what the Western Conference is going to be this
Is that
year.
an OJ Mayo team?
Yeah, I think that's an OJ Mayo team. Yeah,
Nice.
OJ Mayo
Or a Monte Ellis team.
Yeah,
One
or
of the
Monte.
two.
Just a weird Mavericks team that's like we're back after 3 years.
It was total savant Rick Carlisle year. Like,
Yeah, literally, it's just like I know how to play the Spurs. Like
exactly.
Rick Carlisle.
Yes.
I just think there's going to be a lot of 45 win, 47 win teams. It's just going to like the Western Conference is just going to look weird.
I think it's going to be like if this is your prediction, I don't know if I have Timberwolves as the 1 seed, but if we're saying I think they win 58 games and then the Clippers are after that. Actually, you know what? We've talked about the Clippers. I don't know if they'll win that many games. 15 wins if Kawhi and Paul George like both play 3/4 of the season. So I don't know. Maybe Denver's the 52 win after that.
Yeah, Denver. I mean, there's just a lot of
But they're in the
possibilities.
same division, so they're going to be beating them up on each other.
Yeah, and you got Memphis in the other division, and we haven't even mentioned New Orleans is going to be good as well.
Dang, yeah.
So the Western Conference, it's going to be tough, but the
Timberwolves
Timberwolves,
be 1 seed.